place is incredible. If there was a competition for the most beautiful city in Spain, I think Granada might just win it. They have the world famous Alhambra, stunning flamenco, tapas on every street corner. We're gonna show you the best things to do in Granada in just one day and tell you about all the mistakes you should avoid so you can plan a trip just like this.
My favorite way to start the day is with churros. And what better place than here? This just looks spectacular. Got a fried dough stick and then you dip it in this thick hot chocolate. Look at this. Food directly from the heavens.
This spot we just ate at is located on Plaza Bibrambla, a beautiful square in the historic town of Granada. The most important thing you need to understand about Granada is it wasn't always Spanish. On the map, Granada is closer to Africa than it is to Madrid. So in the 8th century, Muslim armies came in from Africa across the sea and they took over the whole south of Spain. They brought their religion, their food, their art. They ruled here for almost 800 years and it really defined Granada. And the greatest thing they left behind is located right up on that hill over there. We just entered the Alhambra. This is the most visited monument in all of Spain. Over 2 million visitors a year. And legend has it, this place is almost too beautiful for this world. When you walk through the Alhambra, you're walking through the final chapter of Muslim Spain. One family, the Nasrids, held Granada for 250 years after all the other Muslim kingdoms had fallen and been reconquered by Christians. The Nasrid sultans weren't trying to build a palace, they were trying to build heaven on earth, literally. The walls carry around 10,000 inscriptions, all Quran verses and poems telling you you've arrived in paradise.
The Alhambra was built mostly in the 14th century and consists of 3 main parts. Right behind me we have the Alcazaba. This was the military fortress from where they defended the whole city, and from the watchtowers you can get a really great view across Granada. Then you have the Generalife Gardens, which is where the Sultan, the Nasrid Sultans, escaped the summer heat. And it does get a little bit hotter in summer. But the real showstopper are the Nasrid palaces, which we're going to show you right now.
Holy guacamole! This place is incredible. I have dreamed about coming to the Alhambra for so long. I imagined what it would look like, what it would feel like to stand there, but I feel like it's super mystical in a way that Spain usually isn't. Like the arches, the marble, the fountains, just the vibe here is unbelievable. The love the last Sultan had for the Alhambra is what made him hand over Granada to the Christians without a fight. The Spanish king and queen spent decades reconquering Spain from Muslim rule, shedding lots of blood in the process. When they finally arrived on Granada's doorstep, the Sultan didn't want a massacre. To save Granada, the Sultan simply handed over the keys to the Alhambra to the Spanish royals and said, "Here you have the key to paradise." And as he rode off into exile, he turned back on a hill outside the city, he looked at the Alhambra and he just cried. And legend has it, his mom, standing beside him, said, "You weep like a woman for what you could not defend like a man." Ouch. But I like to think, had he not done that, maybe none of this would have survived.
3 important tips for your Alhambra tickets. 1. Come early in the morning because it does get hot and busy here during the day. Number 2. This place is super popular, so it does sell out. So you need to book your tickets a few weeks in advance and you need to bring your physical ID because they check.
And number 3, there are 0 signs or exhibitions here to explain what you're looking at or the history behind the place. So if you come here, you really want to do a guided tour. We booked a guided tour online and our guide, Syria, she was so amazing. Told us so many cool anecdotes and stories that you would never know if you were to come here on your own. I'll put the link in the description box down below in case you want to check it out.
Cheers! For lunch we have come to an old school Spanish bar. Behind me you can see the jamons hanging there. There's even a bull's head hanging on the wall. And I've ordered myself a vermouth that they tap straight from the barrels over there, so it doesn't get more traditional than this. But the best part about Granada is that when you order a drink, you get a free tapa to go with it. So you can just keep drinking, have some free food with it. On top of the free tapa, we also ordered this beautiful little platter here. Well, little, it's not so little. It has some cheeses, cured meats, some pate, even some salmon on there. I'm gonna try the cheese. That hits the spot.
And we also have my personal favorite tapa in all of Spain. I could have this every day. Croquetas. We just ordered croquetas. I don't really know what's in here, so I'm gonna find out. That's good. Cheesiness, ham, so nice and gooey. I don't care how hot it gets. This is always a good time. A local actually told us in a previous video, if your croquetas are ugly, that is a great sign because it means they're homemade. I think these are homemade.
In case you're wondering, I am also homemade. That's why I'm a bit ugly.
Now, a lot of people come to Granada and only visit the Alhambra, but that's kind of like going to Rome and seeing nothing else except the Colosseum. So this afternoon, we're going to show you the beautiful historic city center of Granada, starting with the Cathedral.
I love these narrow little winding streets, cobblestones and everything, but definitely bring your phone with Google Maps because it is really easy to get lost here, and without it, I have no idea where we are.
For a lot of people, I think they're like, well, my phone plan doesn't cover me in Spain, or the roaming would be extremely expensive.
Yeah, last time we traveled overseas, we ended up with a phone bill over $300 just because I used my phone like once or twice and used the internet.
But there's actually something you can do to avoid that, which is to use an eSIM. This is something we've been doing for all our overseas trips. It just makes travel so much easier and way cheaper. We have tried a bunch of different eSIM providers in the past, and some of them weren't very reliable, which is why we now always use Airlo. It just works perfectly every single time. So we asked them to sponsor this video and give you guys a discount code. Airlo is an eSIM provider that is trusted by over 30 million travelers. They have packages in more than 200 destinations, so you can use them almost anywhere you travel.
In the past, when you want cheap internet access abroad, you had to wait until you landed, go find a store somewhere and buy a physical SIM card. But with an eSIM, it is way easier. You can just download an app onto your phone and that gives you internet access. Then you can choose your package, like 1 gigabyte, even 20 gigabyte if you want. And that is more than enough to use Google Maps to navigate, send some pictures back home to your friends and family, and of course, watch our videos online on your phone because you need that. So definitely go and check out Airlo and use our discount code Naick3 to get $3 off your first eSIM.
When you're packing for Granada, there are two things you need to bring. Number one, comfortable shoes because the sidewalks are uneven and the city is pretty hilly. Number two, if you want to visit this baby, the Cathedral of Granada, one of the highlights, you have to dress appropriately. So this usually works, but they won't allow you in if you have a bare shoulder like this, in which case So the cathedrals we visited in Seville and Malaga were like very dark, very moody, the Gothic style, whereas this one is Renaissance. So it's very light, very airy, and there's a very specific reason for that. This place is a monument to victory. Granada was the last Muslim kingdom in Spain, the final one standing. So when the Christians captured the city in 1492, many people saw this as the birth of a united Spain. And to celebrate that new chapter, to show the world a new superpower was on the rise, they built this bad boy, full of light, gold, and as much grandeur as they could possibly fit inside these walls. This evening, we're taking you to see a flamenco show, but before we do that, we'll take you to the heart of Granada's old city center. Everyone keeps saying this is the most atmospheric part of Granada. Our first stop is Carrera del Darro, which has a reputation of being Granada's most beautiful street. And oh my god, it is so incredibly cute and so quaint. The cobblestone streets, and then you have the greenery and the river and small little bridges. Amazing! And if you follow the street all the way that side, which we're gonna do, you arrive in the Albaicin neighborhood, which is the oldest neighborhood in all of Granada, older even than the Alhambra. The Albaicin is Granada's oldest and most maze-like neighborhood, filled with whitewashed houses, hidden plazas, and cozy cafes. We really loved Calle Calderería Nueva, a lively street lined with tea houses, artisan shops, and a distinctly Moroccan atmosphere. You can also visit El Bañuelo, one of the oldest and best preserved Arab bathhouses in all of Spain, dating back to the 11th century. And of course, there's banger views of the Alhambra throughout the whole Albaicin neighborhood.
I'm gonna say it. Once you get out of the historic center, everything is uphill.
All of it. The
All of it.
Alhambra, this neighborhood.
And it gets really hot here in the afternoon, especially now during summertime. It's July now. It gets 36, 38 easily. And now is the hottest part of the day in the afternoon. But you can take the minibus up the mountains and up the villages into the Albaicin neighborhood, into the other neighborhood we're going later. There's also Uber, so you can just order an Uber and get anywhere. So you're not obliged to walk uphill everywhere.
Next up, we are heading to Sacromonte. This is the neighborhood where Granada's outsiders, the people who weren't fully accepted because of religion, ethnicity, or social status, carved out a life for themselves away from the rest of the city. Literally by digging homes into the hillside as early as the 16th century. The Sacromonte Cave Museum lets you step back in time and into their bedrooms, their kitchens, their workshops, the way people lived in these caves for 500 years. Can you imagine seeing all of that for the first time back when people didn't really know that the south of Spain had flamenco and what the Alhambra looked like, and then you're just submerged into this crazy world. Like living in caves. Cool in summer, hot in winter, cheap, smart.
What's really interesting is that flamenco was actually started here in Andalusia. It started with the gypsy communities who lived inside these caves. And a lot of the famous artists, like the really legendary people in flamenco, were born here and they performed flamenco inside these caves. Which is actually where I'm going to a flamenco show in a cave. It's just like 5 minutes walk from here. And I found it online. There was a post by a guy who lives here in Granada. And he said this was one of the best shows and he went 6 or 7 times there. So if it's good enough for the locals, it's good enough for Naick. That way.
The streets in this neighborhood are like super steep. This man must have a lot of faith in his handbrake because the angle is crazy, but I also think this is not his first time on this street.
Wow, what a spectacular show. This is the first time I've seen flamenco. Flamenco so up close, like within reaching distance from me. I could feel like even their skirts twirling against me. Wow, it was just energizing.
And now we're gonna go to one of the best viewpoints, allegedly, we'll see, in all of Granada to see the sunset.
We made it to the sunset point. Now you can really see why it's called the red one, the Alhambra in Arabic. Very beautiful. There's a bunch of people here, people playing music. If you want to see more of Spain, you can watch our Barcelona video here. And if you want to know which scams to avoid in Spain, go and watch this one. See you in the next one.